Hello Gearspace, this is Tom from Korg Berlin, and today we're in the Bauwagen at Superbooth 2025 and we're looking at Phase8. So we showed a very, very similar thing to this last year, which is more of a prototype, and we're back this year with the finished product. So this is the parts from the actual factory that will be producing the product. It's projected to come out at the start of next year. Still a few more checks and things that have to happen to make a big production line move, but this is exactly what we'll be getting, and I'll take you through a bit of what it does. So at the heart of it is this acoustic sound subassembly, which is just to say that the thing that actually makes the sound, so the voices of the synthesizer, are these metal resonators. And the whole idea behind this was trying to take the feeling of being in front of like an acoustic instrument, like a Rhodes or a piano or a guitar, are good examples, where you have this kind of immediate connection to the thing that's making the sound, and how you're kind of putting your own touch and feel into it. But then we wanted to wrap that up into a familiar package that you'd have on a synth, where you can do all this exciting stuff with it that produces really fun experiences, and ways to sort of discover new music and do all this sort of stuff. So in order to do that, you need to be able to control stuff. And the way that it works is we have these electromagnets here, which send a pulse of energy that moves the resonator, and then it gets picked up by this pickup here. It's a capacitive pickup, and that moves through the rest of the synthesizer. So then you have VCAs, you have wave folders, you have the sequencer and the brains of it all. But the signal path is all analog from very analog in a very acoustic, real-world, physical way into a set of VCAs and wave folders, and the whole thing is just controlled by a computer. So that means we can do things like sequence, which you would have heard at the start. You can control the envelopes of all of these resonators, from short and snappy to long and soft, which means you can also do things like sustain. So if I pick one and I put it to the sustain part of the envelope generator and put in live mode as well, I can sustain this note for as long as I like, which makes some very beautiful. If I have these, a little bit more balance. And of organy sounds. Yeah. So the way is you interact with it either by live playing, like I just showed you before, where this kind of acts like a keyboard, or in step sequence mode, which is what I started with. And you can mix and match them. So you can have a step sequence running, and then you can choose to switch to live mode and play stuff over the top. You can also record the stuff that you're playing in over the top by holding the record button and pressing those notes. So you can play stuff that's straight on the grid, or you can record in your own playing unquantized, and have this kind of like fluid interaction between stuff that's very rigid and stuff that's very organic. Then you can also choose which of those steps are active by moving to skip mode. So it will show you for each voice of the synth, all 8 voices, which steps will be played, and you can choose to turn them off or on individually, which means you can have a step sequence of, say, 8 steps running, and you can have a phrase over the top of it that's 7 steps, or 4 steps, 5 steps, 3 steps. Create some really interesting like rhythmic patterns and moving kind of patterns over the top of it. If you're really sort of rhythmically minded and keep track of all that stuff, you can do some really, really interesting polyrhythmic stuff. One big difference between the prototype we showed last year and what we've got this year is the mod types. So we have 3 different mod types now. So the middle one is a pitch bend. It's kind of dive bombing sound. You also get some really fun movement when there's a sequence running. The left mode is just a tremolo, which is really beautiful, especially for the sustain notes. And then the right mode, I've got some automation running at the moment, which is why it sounds so crazy, but it's an AM modulation in the frequency range from an octave up to an octave down. But you can also, if you hold quantize and move this, it'll snap to the harmonic series of each resonator. So you can hear it stepping there. And all of these controls can be automated by holding the record button. So if I wanted to have this sequence running, hold record, and change this, all of that knob movement will be recorded in there. So you have all these fun synth things that you can do, the kind of we know and love and draw you into finding different ways to make music. But the heart of the sound is still this acoustic synthesizer that you can interact with. You can detune, which I really love to do. So take a note that's pitched, at C, and tune it down, and change the relationship between the overtone and the fundamental. Make really good percussive sounds by shoving stuff underneath there, wrapping it in rubber bands, what have you. All sorts of prepared piano stuff if that's what you're into. But at the end of the day, it's still kind of designed to be something that's quite easy to understand quickly, but then easy to expand on. So you have this immediate feeling and understanding of what the sound, how it works, and then you can kind of just let your mind run wild with what you do either in the synth domain by changing envelopes, changing velocities, modulation, all these sort of things, or by physically interacting with the way that it moves and produces sound. And yeah, the whole idea being that we hope we create an instrument that's really fun and easy to use, that's kind of accessible to a lot of people, and really marries the world of like taking an acoustic instrument that you feel really connected to and giving you all of the playful, fun, exciting things of a synthesizer.